All right, so this is going to be the last portion of the walk cycle. This demo is explicitly going to be for cleanup. Generally speaking, if I am looking at my animation, let me go ahead and turn this off. If I am looking at my animation and if I play this, there are definitely some things that I would absolutely want to change and adjust to this. Obviously, the fingers are not animated. There is some popping and some blockiness, especially on the arms and the elbow. The reason I'm going to keep this as is because I actually want whoever's in the class right now to give me some feedback and basically catch any mistakes that you feel like could be fixed. So, and also I just don't have enough time to sit down and animate this entire thing without going too far into it. So, with that said, I'm going to leave the mistakes that I have here right now, and I will leave these so that individuals in the class can give me personal critique on this block. With that said, let me quickly save this. Save scene as. We'll call this iteration number 5. Save that. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to go in and clean up as many controllers as I can. Again, I'm not going to take too long on this. I want you to get the gist and the idea of it. But the most important thing that I really want you to focus on is how I clean up the hips, because that will greatly determine how I fix everything else, with the exception of the feet. The feet are going to be treated very differently because of how Maya likes to spline the feet. It's a very weird thing. I've had a multitude of problems with the feet in the past when I'm splining them, so I'm going to have to treat those a little differently. So for this specific tutorial, the most important thing is watching me clean up the hips, and then last but not least, watching me clean up the feet. After that, the hips are literally, it's the same thing throughout the rest of the body, again, with the exception of the feet. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first and foremost, I'm going to hide my cameras really quick. There's a quick tutorial on how to create a camera for your Play Blast, but for now, let's just hide those. Let me just look at the left view, and let's just select the hip first. So let's tackle the hips. First thing I want to do is I want to tackle this main controller for the hip. And the other thing that you want to make sure that you do is you want to make sure that your animation settings are set to weighted tangents, and then you're going to go to auto span legacy. Save that. Perfect. Now that I am auto span legacied, any adjustments or any changes that I make to this animation will automatically go into spline for me. So any alterations or changes I make will automatically be splined. The next thing I want to do is I want to select all my controllers with the exception of this one at the bottom. I do not want to touch the world controller. I only want to select the ones I have animated or will be animated. And again, I'm going to save this really quick just to make sure that this is exactly the last place I want to go to if I have to reopen this file. And I'm going to select all of these, and I'm going to auto them. Okay? So first thing, again, that I want to look at is I want to look at the hips. So let's take a look at the hips, and let's just look at the translate Y. Already, there's some weirdness going on. And as you can see by my feet, there's also some definite weirdness as well. So what I want to do is, you know what, let's actually tackle the feet first, because that's like the most glaring and obvious thing. So let's tackle the feet. It looks like I'm getting some blocking stuff here. Let's see what's blocking. So I've got this. Let's see. Okay, I think I know what happened. Okay, so let's do this. This is a great example of, oh shoot, I think I messed this up. Let's go back. So let's open our scene, the last one we had. Don't save. what I'm going to try to do is, I think what's happening is that not all of my keys are keyed at the right place. So what I'm going to do is press S on every single keyframe. So I know for a fact that every single key or every single controller that can be keyed is keyed. So I hopefully get less of those weird bounces. Okay, so we've got settings set up. Let's go ahead and see what happens when we auto-spline this again. Now, to be honest, I'm probably going to get that weirdness again. Let's just see what happens. Okay, there you go. That made a huge difference. So literally all I did was I made sure that every single possible key, or every single controller that can be keyed is keyed. And because I did that, it basically told the computer, oh, okay, I don't have to think about what's in between all of these frames anymore. I know that from this frame to this frame, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, all the way down. And it's basically telling the computer, hey, it's going to look like this, then it's going to look like this, then this down the line. And I want you to change, or I want you to in between everything in between here and here. If I did not key every single one, let's say if this one is deleted, let's just see what happens. Then like weird stuff starts to happen. So keep that in mind. For the feet, make sure, and for the rest of the body for that matter, make sure that every single key is keyed. And yeah, looks like that actually worked out pretty well. I don't have to worry about that much. I am getting a little bit of a popping here. But I'm actually going to, yeah, I'm going to fix that really quick. Let me fix that. So I'm going to go on the frame that I want. And let me just fix that so I have less of a pop. So when I play this, it's less poppy. Same with this one. There we go. Less pop, much smooth. All right, so now that that's done, honestly, that was way easier than I thought it was going to be. Sometimes the feet are a pain in the butt. But as you can tell, the reason they were being so wonky is because I did not key every single keyframe that I have. So now that that's fixed, that's actually, honestly, the hardest part. After that, it's just me going in here and starting to clean things up a little bit. So if I'm looking here, looks like on the Y, my rotations aren't really moving at all. So I don't really want that. My up is there. I want to smooth this out. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this is doing. Perfect. So that's a much smoother transition, and I can feel the body moving in a much better way. So let's check out this one. Let's see what this one is doing. Let's see what happens if I delete that. Not really much of anything. So let's just see what happens if I do something to this one. So I should be ramping up here actually. So let's start ramping up. So when I watch this, yes, that feels so much smoother. So again, this is me taking advantage of all this data. So the next thing I want to do is, and again, if you pay attention to the hips, I'm basically going to do it for the rest of this. What I'm going to do is, I want to go to curves. I want to go to post-infinity cycle, and I want to go to pre-infinity cycle for both. And then finally, I want to go to view and click on infinity. So I can see my animation going on for infinity. Now, what I absolutely do not want is this kind of weird, wonky wave little thing going on here. So if you've watched the idle cleanup animation video, I'm literally doing the same thing. So this is kind of just a refresher for those who have watched the last video. Now, what you can do is you can absolutely move these and try to make it as smooth as possible. One thing that I like to do is I like to break the tangents. and I like to manipulate and move them individually. So if I'm going to select this one right here, I want this to have a much smoother transition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this side right here. I'm going to go ahead and break that. I'm going to smooth it out by trying to have my slope match the tangent to the best of my ability. Then when I go over to this side, all I have to do is select this side, click on the right tab, and then just move it accordingly. So now I have a smooth, infinite transition between my frames. So if I were to go and play this, again, it feels real robotic, but actually I'll critique that for later. All right, so now that that's done, let me just quickly review it and see what's going on. Perfect. Okay, that's looking all right. So now that I have the y-axis, let's see what else we have got on this. We also have the, let's see, rotate or translate. Okay, we have to translate as well. That's actually looking pretty clean. So what I'm going to do is, let's see what happens if I delete something. Nothing really changes. So I don't really need that frame. Let's go over here. How about this one? What happens if I delete this one? Not really much either. So I don't need those. And if you look over here, it's already smooth, so there's not really anything I have to do to it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up. As you can tell right here, this is not at all a good transition. Let's just hypothetically see what happens if I were to move this up or down. So let's go ahead and smooth that out. And already that's looking significantly better. But as you can tell, it's not really going anywhere. So let's see. Pre-infinity, post-infinity. Let's just see what happens if I select and break this. Let's go there. Actually, I don't think there's really much that I have to do with this. This is just the rotate on the side to side. Let's see what happens. Very subtle movement. I think that's actually pretty good, actually. If I wanted to push this even further, I could delete that just for fun, just to kind of change it up a little bit. I'm not going to get too crazy, though. Let's actually keep that there for now. What I definitely don't want is for this to be too flat. So to combat that, I'm just going to move it ever so slightly. So it's not completely the same. I want to move it a little bit. Okay, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and play this again. Again, if I were to actually play this, I would only play frame 24 through 1. And you know what? It's really bugging me, but I'm fighting the urge to fix it. Yeah, oh, man. Okay, yeah. So if you can see it already, the arms are kind of a pain in the butt right now. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah, the arms just feel really, really stiff. But again, I don't want to touch that quite yet. I'm going inside out. I want to make sure that the hips are good. I want to make sure the feet are good, and then I can start going out. So with that done, let's quickly look at what the other ones look like. This is looking a little too odd. So let's just happen if I delete that. Looks good. What happens if I delete this one? Kind of looks the same. And you know what? I think I could delete that one as well. I could probably delete this one. Let's see what happens if I delete that one. I actually want to keep that one. So a little bit smoother. That feels okay to me. Okay, so now that that's done. Also, I completely forgot. I got to select all the controllers really quick. So select all of these, and now what I'm going to do is, as you can see, like there's just a flat line here, and that's because I need to apply pre-infinity and post-infinity to all of them. So make sure all your controls are selected, and then you can do it. So now if I were to look back at the hips, let's see if this changes anything. Oh, sweet, it still looks really, really smooth. But this one, on the other hand, I would definitely fix. Let's go ahead and go to 25. Okay, perfect. Let's break these tangents. Let's break them. Awesome. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select this. I'm going to try to smooth this out a little bit. And you know what? It's actually looking relatively smooth. What I would want to do instead is I actually kind of want to widen them out. So I'm going to make them return back to normal. I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to widen them a little bit, like so. So I get a little bit smoother transition. And I don't want this bump right here. So to make it even smoother, I'm going to delete that. Let's see what happens if I delete that. Looks good. And that looks like a much smoother transition. The arc is looking way, way better. And if I wanted to push it even further, select that, kick them out a little bit, and now I have a smoother transition. Perfect. The idea and the objective is just to make your arc smooth and to clean up any stagnant flat parts that you may have on your animation. So if I'm going here, I could probably delete that one. Can I delete that one? Perfect. Okay, but when I delete them, I'm losing this kind of this curve that I have here. It's making it sharper. To combat that, all I have to do is widen that a little bit. And instead of having more frames there, I am immediately having it cleaned up. So before I get too excited, let me save this really quick. Save scene as. And I'm going to end this tutorial exactly at 3:45 class time because I don't want to keep you here longer than you have to. So again, I'm going to quickly burn through this. Let's name this number 6. And I'm honestly just going to go through and just really quickly, bam, bam, bam. So let's select this, rotate Z is not affected. Right here, translate is looking a little weird there. Let's go ahead and fix that, like so. Fix this, like so. Let's just see what happens if I mess with this. Okay, perfect. Okay, that's looking better. Like that. Okay, cool. Awesome. So, yeah, if you're hanging out right now, just so you know, that was like the main important thing, the hips and the feet. Once I have those ironed out, then I'm just literally going down the line and I'm just cleaning these up individually. So let me just quickly burn through all of these. I don't think I need, yeah, I don't need those two. I'm just gonna kick this out a little bit more, like so. So I have a really smooth transition there. Go on the Y, nothing there. Z, nothing there. Looks like it's just the X. So let me go ahead and delete that one. Delete that one. Probably delete this one and this one. That looks like a smoother transition. I'm gonna go ahead and go through here. Delete this. And again, the reason I'm so comfortable kind of like deleting and get rid of a lot of these, I already know what the effect is going to be. So what I would recommend if you're doing this at home, if you're doing this by yourself, is I highly recommend looking and deleting the ones that you think you don't need and just seeing what it looks like on the frame. An example of that would be if I go at the very top here, looks like I already cleaned that one up. Go here, that one's already cleaned up. Okay, yeah, so here's an example. And this is where like my animation looks really wonky, especially on the arms. They look really, really stiff. So let's see if I can clean that up a little bit. So let's look at the translate are not affected. It looks like it's only the Z axis. So we got some weird wobble over here. So let's just see what happens if I were to, say, delete this. What would happen? Not much. Not much at all, actually. Another weird one right here is this one right here. Let's see what happens if I delete this one. Not much. Not much has changed at all. How about this one? What happens if I delete this one here? Not much either. So already it's looking way, way smoother on the graph. Let's probe the shoulder as well. Okay, I think that's everything. Cool, cool, cool. And let's just go down the arm for this one. So again, looking a little weird here, looking a little wonky. Let's see what happens if I delete that. Looks okay. So it looks like this is definitely going to change it quite a bit. But if I'm looking this, man, this feels really, really just like stagnant. So I just want to try to make it look as smooth as possible. So let me go ahead and start deleting some of these. I don't think I need that one. And already it's feeling like it's gliding a lot better. So I like that. So if I'm going to go ahead and look at this. Okay, last but not least, oh man, this, oh, I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. I did not animate the elbow correctly. I could allow this and just kind of keep it there. But I want this to drag. So if I were to reanimate this, what I would really want is for this to drag even further, like so. And already that's feeling significantly better. So again, feeling the animation, it's important to do. And if I were to continue to drag this out, to be honest, I don't want that to be too far out. Dial that back. That feels better. Okay, so again, just messing around with my animation, making sure it feels right. Already that feels significantly better. Let's look at the cleanup now. We still got some weird looking ridges. Let's see if we can fix those up. Let's go ahead and delete that one. I need this one. If I delete this, it's going to completely change the animation. Let's just see what it would look like. Really stiff. And this is looking like an awkward ridge. So to smooth it out, I'm going to bring this down a little bit, like so. So it's smooth. I guarantee you I don't need this one. It's not really doing much to help me. This is where it's really, really looking super, super weird. This has to be fixed because this is what's giving me this weird kind of wonkiness. It's totally breaking the animation, as you can see. So to combat that, I'm going to break this. I'm going to kick this up like so. I'm going to adjust this one accordingly to match the other one. And I'm going to, let's see, break this as well. Make that smoother. I'm also going to bring it in. Like so. And to make this an even smoother transition, let me kick this in as well. So it looks a little bit smoother. Let's see what it plays like. Okay, let's see. Again, I'm only going to play frame 24 through 1. And let's just see what that looks like. So still really choppy, really blocky. Also the curves or the controllers definitely don't help. It does feel better here. But this is the general idea of exactly what I'm going to do when I'm doing cleanup. So last but not least, let me quickly go down this arm. I'm going to fix the head, and then I will show you what the final product would look like. So let's go ahead back to the rotations. Let's see, I definitely don't need, I don't think, let's see, let's take a look at this really quick. Don't have any of the translates, don't have any of the rotations other than this one. What I want to do is, I kind of want this to come down a little bit more so it feeds into the other one. I don't think I need this one. Actually, I definitely don't need this one. Yeah, I don't need that one. Let's see if this one makes a difference. Let's see if this one makes a difference. Not really a huge difference. So you know what? I'm actually just going to delete all of these. And then instead of that, I'm going to kick this out. Oh man, that feels way smoother. Okay, cool. Now let's go to this one. Okay, you know what? I could probably do the same thing with this one too. Let's see what happens. So I want this top part to be widen out. So let's go ahead and select that. Like so. Much smoother. All right, same with this one as the opposite side. This should definitely not be coming up like it is right now. This should be dragging. So I'm going to pull that back. I'm going to go to frame 25. I'm going to let that come down just a little bit. Have this come down a bit too. Have that come down a bit as well. Let me just see what these look like. Okay, so this is way too fast of a transition. So if I delete that, that feels much better. I like that more. Okay, so we'll keep that. Let me just dip this just a wee bit. Perfect. Okay, that's looking better. Again, make sure your first and last frame are copied. Go ahead and paste that. Awesome. And here, let me delete that. Actually, let me just move these both up so it's a smoother transition, like so. Perfect. Okay, cool. And then last but not least, the wrist. Let us fix the wrist. Okay, so let's just see what happens if I delete that. I actually want to keep that there. I think I just might want to smooth out the transition for this. I'm going to just fix this really quick. And then we will be done for this cleanup. Let's get this one. Like so. All right. And you know what? I don't think I need these. Never mind, I do. I don't think I need, yeah, I definitely don't need this one. It's making really, really wavy. And I definitely want this one to drag a little bit more. So just alter that a little bit more, like so. Okay, cool. That still looks a little weird. Let me just dial that back. Let me just see what that looks like. Actually, yeah, that's way smoother. I'm gonna do that instead. Cool. All right, that's it. So now if I were to play this again really quick, again, thank you all for hanging out. I'm almost done. So let me just turn off the nerve controllers. Let's just go ahead and play this again really quick. And there you go. You got yourself a walk cycle. If I were to fix one other major thing, it's the clipping that I'm getting through here. To combat that, what I would do is just go ahead and quickly turn this on. So it's really happening through here. I would just pin that out a little bit more. I would fix that further. But again, if I were to fix this further, what I would honestly want to do is I would take a look at the clipping that's happening here. And it's really happening up through here. So I would probably want to change actually this one right here. There we go, fixed. Awesome. Okay, so I would consider this to be done. I'm going to quickly play blast this, but that is it for this tutorial. This is again how to do an animation walk cycle. And again, I would definitely fix some more things, but you have the general idea. All right, thank you for watching, and I hope this helps.